If you are a common viewer on my channel, you will notice that I watched a lot of kids shows when I was, well, a kid. Hell, I still do now. Recently, I came across an online archive of lost media, which included a bunch of lost kids shows, and it blows my mind how much lost media exists. I wanted to share it with you guys, so I thought there is only one way I can do it. I decided to do a list, so here is my top 5 lost kids shows. Number 5, Ernie Dusts the Shelf. Ernie Dusts the Shelf is a Bert and Ernie skit that aired in the first season of Sesame Street in 1969. The story in the short is that it's Ernie's turn to dust the shelf, but he is putting it off, trying to remember something important he has to do first. Bert thinks Ernie is just stalling to get out of doing chores, and eventually insists that Ernie starts dusting. He does, and toys fall from the shelf and onto Bert's head. That prompts Ernie to remember what he had to do before dusting the shelf: take the toys off first. The audio for this short was released on 2 Sesame Street albums, Ernie's Hits and At Home with Bert and Ernie. The audio is also on YouTube.
Ernie? Oh, Ernie. Haven't you dusted that toy shelf yet? It's your turn, you know, and you always stall.
Oh, I'm not stalling, Bert. You see, it's just that there's something I ought to do before I dust the shelf.
No, there's nothing else you have to do. Just dust that shelf, Ernie.
But I think it's important, Bert.
Ernie, will you stop stalling?
There's also a story representation of the skit in a 1971 book titled The Sesame Street Storybook. The visuals were only seen 2 times in 1969. They were removed from the rotation, most likely due to the toys falling on Bert's head being too violent for toddlers, and them thinking Bert was hurt. The video footage remains stored in the Sesame Street Workshop archive away from public eyes. Number 4, PB&J Otter. PB&J Otter was a program for preschoolers that aired on Disney Channel's Playhouse Disney block from 1998 to 2005. The show is about a family of otters that live in a town called Lake Husha, but usually centered around the 3 kids, Peanut, Butter, and Jelly. I shit you not, that is their real names. The show stayed off the air for 7 years, until 2012, when they were randomly brought back on the air, but removed once again 1 year later, and have since never aired. The re-airing removed most of the original credit sequences, which has now rendered them hard to find, and they even have their own lost media wiki page. The show itself is also hard to find, as there have never been any DVD releases. There is, however, clips of the show, as well as uploads of the theme song and the Do the Noodle dance, which was a dance the otters did in every episode to try and come up with a solution to their problem. There's also a full episode on YouTube which is titled PB&J Otter Dare Duck / Otters of the Wild that was uploaded by a YouTube channel named Cartoon Boyification 1. A commenter on the PB&J Otter Lost Media page named Lost Media 1998 states that the show still airs on Disney Junior in his or her area as of March 28, 2018, so the show may not be as lost as it appears. Number 3, Meso Blues. Meso Blues was the original thesis short for what later turned into the hit Cartoon Network show Johnny Bravo. The short was created by Van Partible in 1993. While at Loyola Marymount University, Partible decided to pursue a career in animation, and he came up with this short as a senior thesis project. The short was originally about 3 Elvis impersonators, but was changed to just 1 to save time. Dan McLaughlin, who was Partible's animation professor at the time, showed the short to a friend of his that worked for Hanna-Barbera. The studio loved it so much that they asked Partibles if they can make a 7-minute pilot based on the short to pitch to Cartoon Network. The pilot created was the pilot for Johnny Bravo. The character was changed so that, as Partible put it, he would be more of a 50s iconic James Dean looking character that talks like Elvis. Other changes include his hairstyle, name, physical appearance, and personality. This new pilot was later aired on World Premiere Toons, also known as What a Cartoon. All that exists of this short is a small snippet of it in a documentary titled Bringing Up Johnny Bravo, which is available on YouTube, as was uploaded by a user named YoshiKiller2S. There are also a few animation cells on the Lost Media Wiki. Aside from that, the full short has yet to see the light of day as of the recording of this video. Number 2, Blueprints. Blueprints is the name of the original pilot for what would later be called Blue's Clues. This pilot had some differences from the actual show, including Steve wearing a short-sleeved red shirt instead of his iconic green long-sleeve shirt. There was also a song used in the pilot which would later be reworked into the We Can Do Anything That We Want to Do song sung by Steve at the end of every episode. This song is called Can You Help Me Today and is available on YouTube in audio form.
Can you help me call Blue? Just do what I do. You gotta jump up and down.
The pilot was only shown to a few select preschools to test the interactivity of the show with little kids. The short stayed fully lost until 2006 when a few clips were shown of it in a 10-year anniversary documentary titled Behind the Clues, 10 Years of Blue, which has been uploaded onto YouTube by a user named Nickelodeon Shows 1. The only other thing that has been made public are some screenshots, including the title card, as well as some of the characters from Blue's Clues, but they appear to have different colors. Aside from that, the short remains lost as of the recording of this video. Number 1. The Naughty Shop. The Naughty Shop, also known as just Naughty, is a Canadian and British spin-off of the Naughty cartoon created by Rick Sigelcow. The Naughty Shop aired on PBS and CBC from 1999 to 2002, and on TVO from 1999 to 2004. The show is basically about a grandpa who runs a magic toy shop where all the toys come to life and his grandkids play with them. They also show Naughty's Toyland Adventure as segments twice in every episode. There are about 11 full episodes and 2 clips on YouTube that a channel called Canadian TV Broadcast uploaded. There are, however, over 50 episodes that are lost. I decided this deserved the number 1 spot for a reason. Not only do I remember watching this show, but I have looked for a long time online to find it. I remembered a Naughty show that took place in a toy store, but didn't know what it was called. Thanks to this archive though, I found it, and it felt a blast of nostalgia like you couldn't even imagine. It kind of sucks that so much of this show is lost, but because it is considered lost media, I was able to find it and get a huge nostalgia rush. And that is my top 5 lost kids shows. I really enjoyed making this video. It is fascinating that there are people who are finding all sorts of lost media and putting them in an online archive. Something about it is just fascinating to me, and I would love to visit this again and do a second list, so let me know down below if you would like to see that. Also, feel free to check out the Lost Media archive for yourself. A link is down below. Anyways, remember to subscribe, like, ring the bell, and we'll see you in the next one. I am Studio 95. Take care.